episode. Tell us a little bit about what motivated you to establish this organization called Community Changemakers.
So definitely, my background is part of the motivation, but it was in order. It's our vision is kind of to guide people to take the action, to do the mutual aid, to expand their involvement. And in the past, I've been involved in this kind of stuff all my life. I didn't want it to be, oh, Mishka's project or this or that. I wanted people to rally around something that they can move forward with, be community change makers. We're going to make a difference in our community. That's a part of the motivation, but how it logistically actually happened was by mistake and by circumstance. So we originally started, I had a consulting company, and I thought, okay, we'll do once a month projects as I'm always already doing, and we'll brand it like this. And it was never initially a non-profit. It was
Before you continue, you said you had a business, and I recall reading in your background that you, as a businesswoman. So, what are some of those businesses that you were involved in?
So I still have current ongoing businesses, and I keep that stuff more private. And all I'm gonna say on that is it's the blessing that allows me to serve humanity, alhamdulillah. But the consulting company I can tell you a little bit about was when I was working in politics. So I've been paid in politics since the age of 13, alhamdulillah. And so I have a experience in multiple different election cycles. I worked in a presidential election before I could vote myself. I have worked, local, state level, county level, midterm, special elections, all the sort. Field organizer. I've worked my way up to director, managing a $6 million budget, alhamdulillah, in Miami-Dade and Broward County. We had 356 staff under us. We had 25 full-time staff, all of the sort. But I closed that consulting company down in 2020 when this Community Changemakers, the what was supposedly supposed to be a side project and once a month in our extra time, when the pandemic happened, it went from 0 to 100, exponential growth, and people were so wanting to be involved in it. They wanted tax deductible donations. They wanted to give us grants. They wanted to do corporate matching. So me and the team were like, we're gonna have to make this a real thing. The people are honing around this message. So that's kind of logistically how it started. And for the viewers out there, let me tell them what's the mission of our organization. It's supporting communities by mobilizing a generation of change makers through collaborative action, social impact projects, and civic engagement. So, hearing my background, you see I'm using all of the experiences, whether from the charity work over the years to the civic engagement, to involvement in those works, because I see the importance of all of those things. And we can't just do it one way. We can't just do an event and clap our backs and that's it. It has to be sustainable. It has to be long-term thinking. So that's kind of the background of how it started, the vision, the mission.
Of the activities that community change makers have been directly involved in.
Definitely. So our first project was called United for Migrants. It's still continuing today, but it started back in 2019. As you may remember, that was the time when there was kids in cages, and ICE Miami was having all these problems, and even in our own backyard in Miramar, there was all these things going on, and there was nothing political or religious. It was strictly humanitarian efforts, which we participated in as a charity, and we mobilized the community on the ground. Mm-hmm. It started out mid 2019. And there's for those who don't know, there's a check-in center, not like the ones where they have to stay overnight, but they have to check in over there. And they were migrants would have to stand in long, long lines in the sun, no access to water, and there was all sorts of different abuses going on. So we were just there providing them different services from water, coffee, food. We brought a mobile
So where
clinic
was
out.
this? Where was this happening?
It's still happening in Miramar, Florida, right off 75. I can take you one time, Sheikh. They still go every Wednesday. The group who we collaborated with, so part of our core mission is to collaborate with. We don't have to invent the wheel every time,
Right.
but we have a lot of resources, and alhamdulillah, we can bring things on like a mobile clinic, like a food pantry. We have created resources and pamphlets, and in 6 months, from that initial project starting, expanded from just those undocumented folks to Haitian TPS migrants and more. And we started educational events, panels, resource flyers. And then, the whole world shut down in COVID-19. So we had to shift gears back to the basics. And there's still ongoing efforts with those groups. But since November 2021, under that specific project, the biggest mobilization, which most people probably have heard of, has been with the Afghan refugees under this United for Migrants project. So,
So your community change makers had a deep communication and involvement with the Afghans immigrants, right?
yeah, with the resettlement agencies, with nonprofits involved, it was a massive effort, ongoing, continuing. If you want me to
Yeah,
talk more about
please tell us. For example, what were you doing? What your organization basically did, etc.
exactly. Yeah, so it started. We just started with an info event at the masjid, encouraging people to foster the unaccompanied minors. At that point, the Afghans hadn't arrived in Miami yet. And then once they arrived, late October 2021, immediately there was a need for clothing, basic needs, new underwear, shoes, even like Islamic stuff. They didn't have janamas, Qurans, things like that. And of course, this is all in collaboration with multiple masjids. And after that, there was a big need for medical attention. So initially, we started taking them to the clinics, but it got so massive, we started doing health fairs at the temporary housing hotels. Then we started getting people employed, getting bikes for their transportation, shifting furniture once they finally got permanent homes, alhamdulillah. And there's always a shift in the resettlement, what their needs are at the time. So, and then getting closer to Ramadan time, we hosted a very big fun picnic, because it can't just all be about, giving, taking. You gotta have some enjoyment. This is their new country. We did Ramadan Eid gifts in collaboration with MWO. We did meat distribution on the other Eid. And like I said, all of this, if you go on our social media, every time any event happens, any distribution, we give credit to all the people we collaborate with, whether it's masjids or nonprofit organizations. And recently, let me tell you, one of the biggest partnerships has been with Cosmos and Amazon Corporation. Alhamdulillah, they gave us a $25,000 grant. And this is not even on social media first, so you're getting the first exclusive. So this fall, we have been distributing things that they need, from laptops to access English education and other home items, vacuums, whatever they need, and to help in the resettlement. And in the fall, we helped a lot of them get into school. Some of them opt into Islamic schools as well, helping them get cars. Then the cold came, we did the winter kits. So there's seasons of resettlement. That's the biggest. The biggest one has been to date with the Afghan refugees in South Florida.
Oh, that is really interesting. That's amazing. Very amazing. Tell us,